Mama, I made it. That's something Johnny James could be saying these days. I mean, he's the guy who wanted at first to be a famous Hispanic rapper. Instead, he struck gold in the age of internet attention.
Tens of thousands of people follow him on social media, and now he really can't go out and just get a sopapilla without somebody wanting a picture with him. However, his past is not as funny as the videos that have made him so well known.
Ryan Laughlin shares why that might be part of his connection to his fans in this very special heart of New Mexico.
When it's
hotter than an otter out of the water out here.
What?
You can find Johnny James.
He's helping you, bro.
Beating the heat.
You kind of know the schedule when they clean the pool, so we show up like when it's the clean. We show up when it's the cleanest and when there's the least amount of people. This is his first year without a floaty.
Family is everything to Johnny. But his kids, you'll see
that popcorn
rarely.
I mean, really, bro, I just want to keep them safe, to be honest with you. Like, there's weirdos out there, dog, especially on the internet.
I got your phone, nah.
He knows that better than most.
Hey, you want to smell my keys?
His TikTok videos connect with tens of thousands.
So you think you're all bad now or what?
To understand why Johnny James is the everyman New Mexican.
Look, he got it.
There he goes, there he goes.
You have to understand where he came from.
I know. It was hard. It was fun. It was hard.
Cecilia Valdez, mom, recalls starting her family in a trailer home in San Fidel.
You know, we didn't have a lot, but we still had so much. We were good. We were good.
Johnny, his younger brother, baby sister, mom, and dad, Ray Jr., lived here. The house is gone, but this spot is Johnny's foundation.
And as you can see, it was multiple times, you know, we didn't have the same concrete. This is probably the nicest piece of it.
Learning the ropes from his dad and his dad's dad.
I swear I get my hustle from my grandpa for sure.
Ray Sr. ran Ray's Bar on the same lot where Johnny grew up.
There was still a line, but my dad was like, "Now we got to get out of here early." And my grandpa was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm closing the drive-thru." And my grandpa's like, "You better open that. You see that line out there? Do they got money? We're selling it until the money's gone." That stuck with me, bro.
It's where his career in hip-hop took off. His parents always supportive, despite challenges.
I knew he was going somewhere. He wouldn't tell me exactly but I knew. I knew in the back of my mind where he was going.
Johnny dropped out of school in the 11th grade and made money selling drugs.
I learned business out in the streets, right? Which was probably a good and a bad thing because they don't directly correlate, but there's a lot of similarities, bro. Get it for cheap, sell it for more, right?
It wasn't just about making money.
I'll be 100% transparent. I'm an addict too, but I was able to be self-aware enough to know when I was so close to, like, I've looked over that edge a whole bunch of times, bro.
Opioids had a grip on his family.
I remember helping bringing somebody back from an overdose when I was about 6. We threw him in the tub. My dad was slapping him, and we were throwing ice on him. And that was the first time I remember having to do that as a youngster. Wasn't my last, definitely wasn't my last.
Like father, like son.
My dad was probably the highest functioning addict I've ever met in my entire life. And even though my dad did do what my dad did, he was there. I had a dad. You know how many of my friends that didn't have a dad? My dad showed up to every game. My dad was always there.
Always there. Until 2017.
I hated it. I hated it. But, you know, it's a part of who we are and how we are now.
Ray Jr. Maestas died of a heroin overdose.
Being here, I miss him, bro. Like, there's so much that I want to talk to him about. He didn't get to see how crazy it is now. I just want to hear what he would think, you know what I mean? Like, I want to hear how he would feel. I miss him, bro.
Now, on the right side of the law,
Oh, what's cracking?
Long time no see.
Yeah, man.
Johnny gets noticed.
Johnny, nice to meet you, brother. From Laguna.
From San Fidel
With flow, baby.
Hey, Johnny, brother.
to Central, Johnny is on a new mission.
It's kind of carving out a lane for us down here to not have to leave down here.
Showing success is possible no matter where you started.
Now we're connecting dots, we're connecting people, we're connecting culture, right?
Using his reputation
Right now, Ruidoso needs our help.
to raise over $70,000 for wildfire relief. That is why Johnny connects with people,
I'm on, brother.
his similarities, and shared values.
We were with family. It was always about family, always.
When he thinks about his journey and his dad, he knows he would be
Proud. And he'd be like, I always knew it. I always knew it. When he thought Johnny, I always knew it. He was always gonna do it.
still doing it, and in his own way,
Lead by example.
showing
Come here, check it out real quick.
the heart of New Mexico. I'm Ryan Laughlin.